I love it when I go to a restaurant and there's an amazing immersive hospitality experience where people are trained so well. The host, the food runner, the server, the managers, they're all connected at a high level, giving you hospitality at a high level, which is very rare. But I also love it like when I'm in a hotel. And you go in the hotel and everybody, like the Ritz-Carlton, the hostess, the concierge, the person cutting the lawn, the housekeeping, everybody has that amazing attitude about hospitality, which is a big difference. I stayed in Fontainebleau in Las Vegas, and even the housekeeper was so polite and nice when she saw me. You know, she was like pushing her cart, and she was like, I was like walking the elevator, and she stopped me, and she's like, hey, how are you today? How was everything? How do you like the property so far? How long are you in town for? Like, she started a conversation with me. That like type of immersiveness I absolutely love, where it transports you, truly, versus what you normally get, even at nice places, which is disconnected, immersive experience. Maybe you guys have experienced this, where you go to a restaurant, and the hostess is a little bit lackluster. You know, she's still faking it. You know, she's smiling. She gives me this smile. Hi, how are you today? Yeah, awesome. How many in your party? Okay, yeah, all right, enjoy. Have a great, enjoy your meal. But it's just all fake. No passion, no care. But the server who you're giving your direct tip to, he's happy. Right? He's great. He's on it. He's professional. He's hospitable. But then the food runner drops off their food, your food, lackluster, lacking energy, doesn't care, unprofessional, maybe untrained. So that type of disconnect is what we're talking about. So I want to talk about that. That's what we're here for. And how do we get that out of our employees, right? Because when I go to a restaurant or a hotel or a club and I have a bad experience or I have a lackluster experience, which is just as bad in my opinion, I don't blame the staff. I don't go, this guy, this server doesn't care, this hostess doesn't care, this food runner doesn't care. I don't blame them. I blame leadership. Like, they're not being trained right. They're not being nurtured right. They're not being led right. Someone's allowing this to happen. This isn't the first time they gave a bad experience. This isn't the first time they showed they didn't care, right? Like, someone's allowing this. Someone's accepting this. And it starts with the top down, right? All the way to the top down. So what can we do to empower leadership to be able to have the tools to be able to be successful? First of all, top 4 reasons people quit a job. So when this is talking about people quitting a job, it's not just quitting, right? I'm not talking about someone who just straight up quits, because you can quietly quit. Does everyone know what that is? Right? I'm going to stay, but I'm not going to care. I'm going to show up. I'm going to basically do what it takes to not get fired. I'm going to do the bare minimum. And that's the worst. That's worse than someone quitting, because now they're coming in and they're being a detriment to the brand value, right? To your reputation as a leader. So when I talk about 4 reasons people quit, top 4 reasons people quit, it's not just quitting, but it's also quiet quitting. They're not performing. Number 1 reason someone quits or quietly quits is because of leadership. And you guys can use yourself as case studies, because I'm sure everybody in this room, unless you're just very, very fortunate, has had a leader that made you want to either quit or quietly quit, or definitely not give 100% effort, right? Someone who was frustrating, someone who was annoying you, someone who was upsetting you, right? Making your job harder. Maybe they're aggressive, maybe they're rude, maybe they just didn't know what they were doing. Maybe they were playing favoritism. Whatever it was, it frustrated you, because you have a huge impact on your employees' lives. You impact them. Every single day, they go home, they're thinking about you, good or bad, as leaders. And we all had both of those experiences, where you go home and you're like, oh my gosh, hate working with that person. Or you go home and you're like, man, I feel good, right? They inspire me, they motivate me. And that's something we have to understand as leaders, is that we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to the people underneath us to impact their lives as best as possible. Our job as leaders is to leave them off better than we found them. Do you guys agree with that? We have to leave them off better than we found them. That's our job. That's our responsibility, right? Someone gave us their care. They're underneath us. So what are we doing to do that? If we're just being transactional, checking boxes, making sure they're not showing up late, making sure they're not stealing, making sure they're on the floor, all that good stuff, that's not leadership. What do you think the second reason is? The second reason the people quit their jobs. It's poor training. So, poor training, this is an easy one, because, again, I think we've all experienced this, but you go to get a job, and you get to figure out what they're all about in the training process. It's going to tell you a lot when you're training, right? Is it organized? Do they care? Is it robust? Do I feel like I have the tools to succeed? Or when I go in there, is it unorganized? Does it seem like people don't care? Does it seem like I don't have the tools to succeed? For example, if I go in, do we make sure they know the menu? Do we make sure they know the POS, right? Do they make sure they know all the information? They know the club layout? Do they know the mission statement, the core values? Do they get to meet all the people? Do they have everything they need to succeed? Right? Those things are important. Do you have those things? Because when you get in there, you're going to say, oh, they either care or they don't. They're either connected or they're not, right? And I'll give you an example. I had a friend opening a restaurant, and I was helping him out, and he had his third opening for his restaurant. It was his 10th restaurant, and he said, Preston, can my team take this opening? I want them to lead it. They're excited. They want to lead it. This new management team wants to lead it. I said, sure, absolutely, let's do it. So we opened the doors, first day of training, and people are walking in, and there's management running around because it's opening a new restaurant. People are running around like crazy. Management's trying to answer questions, make sure things are set up, all this stuff. So people are walking in the door, new employees, first day, and they don't know where to go, right? And they're looking around, and they're kind of, aimlessly wandering. And then they finally see a manager, figure out it's a manager, and they connect with that manager, right? They run into him. Oh, hi, my name's Preston. I'm here for training. Oh, yeah, you can sit over there, right? Oh, okay, cool. And they sit over there, and they sit down. And right away, I'm like, okay, we got to do this again. So day 2, we put a desk right in front when you walk in. Can't get past the desk. Name tags. And then when someone walks in, hi, my name's Preston. Awesome. Welcome, Preston. You're your server, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Nice. Here's your name badge. If you go back onto your right, there's a room in there. You'll have your name there. There's going to be a notepad. We're going to be going over X, Y, and Z today. Do you have any questions? Awesome. If we do have any questions, you can ask me, you can talk to us, or anybody with a red name tag, you can talk to us. Those are 2 different experiences. They might seem like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal, but it is, because we're earning their trust as soon as we're training them. That's a big deal. So when they're walking in, what does our training look like? Are we earning their trust? Are we earning their respect? Or are we just lackadaisical in our approach, right? Are we building that relationship with them? The employee experience is just as important as the member experience. Do you guys agree with that? The employee experience is just as important as the member experience. If we're not giving the employee the experience of hospitality, how are we supposed to expect them to give it to the member? We have to provide it for them. We have to give them the same hospitality experience, the same care. Ritz-Carlton, their back of the house, their employee break room looks exactly like their hotel, right? Versus I've worked at restaurants or hotels before where it's boom, you go to the back, it's like white walls, right? It looks like a freaking office. It's beat up, old. All the furniture back there is old and beat up. Those are like tactics you can use to show that you care about the employee, and that's what we need to do, is making sure that we show we care about the employee by giving them the experience. So we need to have leadership, right? Everyone in this room, you guys are the key to success. You guys are the key from good to greatness. Like I talk about this all the time. When I work with clients, we only work with clients that are going from good to great to greatness, right? So like losing weight. You lose that first 5 pounds. When you start losing weight, you lose that first 5 pounds, you're like, it's easy. Cut out soda or something, right? Super simple. You lose 5 pounds, you're like, oh my God, 6-pack in no time. But then that last 5 pounds, holy crap, that's hard. That's tough. And the crazy part is 5% of people ever cross that line, losing that last 5 pounds. Exponentially more difficult. That's what we're here to do today as leaders. Everyone in this room, lose that last 5 pounds. Number 2 is poor training. We've got to focus on our training, making sure that they feel like we care, making sure they feel like we're organized. They know that we're organized. They trust us. We earn their trust. What do you think number 3 is? Yes, lack of growth. So this one's huge, okay? Growth doesn't mean a title, right? Oh, you get another title. It doesn't mean more money. It doesn't mean a promotion. That's not what growth is. Growth is learning new skill sets. So we want to teach our staff new skill sets. I'm sure you guys have had this experience where you hired someone and they're awesome in the interview process and they get on the floor and they're excited and they're motivated and you're like, oh man, this person's going to be a rock star. I'm really excited. And then 6 months later, they're like the worst, right? They can't stay focused. They show up late. They leave early. They call out, whatever. They give 90%, 80%, 60%. They're doing things they know they're not supposed to be doing. What happened? Is it us? Is it them? Who do we blame? Leadership. Yes, leadership. It's us giving them lack of growth, because what happens is they start here and they're learning, they're growing, they're at a new club, they're learning new people, new members, new skill sets, whatever it is. But then after time, they get stagnated because they stop learning, they stop growing. And when they get stagnated as humans, we have to be able to grow. We have to be able to feel like we're growing. We have to be able to feel like we're growing in some way. That's human nature. To feel fulfilled, you have to have growth. That gives you purpose. We're not giving them growth, then we're failing them. So what tasks, little tools, little milestones can we create along the way to give them new skill sets to be able to train and learn and understand and grow? So lack of growth. Anyone want to guess what number 4 is? It's pay. So that's what I hear all the time, right? But that is the 4th motivator for people of why they leave a job or quit a job. If you get someone hired on, it's going to be the 4th reason. No one's getting hired on thinking that they're going to get tipped, right? We're telling them up front, this is the pay. So the reason they're leaving is not money. The reason they're performing lackluster is not money. It's one of those top 3 things. If we have these 3 things down, if all of us in here as leaders, all leaders in here saying, we have strong leadership, we have amazing training, and we're giving them growth metrics along the way. I don't care what position they are, we're consistently giving them little tiny growth metrics, little breadcrumbs of growth, then we could talk about pay. Maybe pay is the issue then. But until we have those top 3 things, we can't really blame number 4. Michael Jordan, I love this quote, earn your leadership every day. And I like this quote because it's true. Like I said earlier, as leaders, you have a responsibility. So you have a responsibility to the people who gave you the job, right? Someone said to you, I trust you. So I said, I trust you to lead the ship. I trust you to represent the brand. I trust you to set the vision. I want you guys to represent the brand. You have that responsibility, but you also, like I said earlier, have the responsibility to your staff, to lead them, to nurture them, right? We have an impact as a business to change the world. I know that sounds dramatic, but it's true. Because first of all, we have an impact on all the members that come in. Are we leaving them in a good mood? Are they leaving with a smile? Are they leaving in a better mood than they came in? And then we have an impact on all the employees who come in here. That's a lot of people to impact year after year. That's a big impact that you're having on a lot of lives. As leaders, earn your leadership every day. It's a responsibility. It's a privilege. This one's really important, this quote. Does anybody know who Napoleon Hill is? So Napoleon Hill is an author. He's very old, and he's written a lot of amazing books. But if you talk to any millionaire or any billionaire, I can guarantee you they've read one of his books or multiple books. And the reason that is because Napoleon Hill talks a lot about mindset. He tries to get people out of the paycheck to paycheck mindset, the hamster wheel mindset, the rat race mindset, and he has a huge impact on lives. That's why so many millionaires and billionaires have read his books before they ever became a millionaire or billionaire, because he changed their mindsets. And this quote kind of encapsulates what he talks about all the time. The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than what he does. That's a really, really powerful statement, and it's true, right? If you're doing more, if you come in to work every day and you give 110%, 120%, eventually that's going to pay back. That's going to pay you back. That's going to have a huge impact on who you are and who you become. And I'll give you an example. On social media, I put this post up, and we'll talk about this in a little bit about hospitality. But I said, hospitality is selfless. You have to truly want to give the guests an experience. That needs to be your motivation, not money, the guest experience. All I care about is you having a great time. That's my number one focus, my number one purpose, right? If you tip me, awesome. But if you don't, I don't care. My number one goal here is to give you the best experience possible for a number of different reasons. But I'm always going to go above and beyond. I'm going to do whatever I can to make you feel special, to make you feel a certain way. And someone wrote back and they said, if my job wants me to go above and beyond, if my job wants me to do extra for the guest, they need to pay me more, or they need to pay me extra. And that's a detrimental mindset, a typical mindset, but a detrimental mindset. If you're getting paid $20 an hour, and you say, if you want me to do any more work than $20 an hour, if you want me to work any more than what I deem $20 an hour, then you need to pay me more. Right? A lot of people take that stance. I have boundaries. I have pride, right? I protect myself. If you want to pay me more, or if you want me to do more work, you need to pay me more. Well, then if you have that mentality, you're always going to be worth $20 an hour, because you're never going to do anything to prove that you're worth more than $20 an hour, to prove to anybody, except for yourself. You can tell yourself that all the time. But these are skill sets you need to train. So we need to tell our staff this. This is the stuff we want to get in our staff's head, because not only is it going to make them perform better, but it's going to make them perform better in life. This is a mindset shift, right? The man who does more than he's paid for will soon be paid for more than what he does. How do we get them to go above and beyond? How do we get them out of the mindset that we're not at work to trade time for money, we're at work to trade effort for growth? Those are two very different mindsets.